Welcome everybody to DownToEarth YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the presidential debate that we heard a few days ago. I have some views on it, and I have some comments, and I have some suggestions, which are made in the best spirit, and it should be taken in that. And I will comment on that. So this video is a bit longer than the usual, and it sort of covers several points. First of all, what the debate is and what purpose does it serve. Secondly, some of the things which Donald Trump said and how he came across and whether he should have said so in different words or not. Third is how Biden conducted himself in that debate and what he said and what he didn't and how he came across. And third, some suggestions to both candidates and what they can do to enhance their effectiveness in the debate going forward. And fourth is basically what has happened in the US in the last 4 years and what really is how the world views US at this point in time, and what some of the things I believe the US can do to basically help itself. So here we start. Debate is what? Debate is basically an opportunity for two people to stand next to each other and talk what their views are and who they are. Tell the world and the audience who they are. It's not a wrestling match or it's not a boxing match where you have to either pin somebody down or knock somebody down. It's basically a great opportunity to basically let people know you better. And it should be taken in that spirit. And, if I am given that opportunity, I feel privileged that, okay, if the debate is 1.5 hours, I have 45 minutes to basically tell who I am. So people can decide whether they want me or my counterpart. It's not a sparring match. So that's one. Secondly, second important point here is that in any debate, you are basically being looked by or viewed by people in every respect, in how you conduct yourself, what your posture is, how confident you are, how agitated you are, what sort of expression you have on your face, and so on and so forth, how you dress. So posturing is extremely, extremely, extremely important in conveying a message. Secondly, the appearance. Appearance is part of all of the posturing, but appearance by itself means a lot. You should not appear as somebody who is friendly, somebody who is compassionate, somebody who is a good listener, somebody who's not aggressive, and somebody who's dressed in neutral attire. Some people get offended by red, some people get offended by striking colors. So wear neutral colors and be a more give yourself a soft image, because that's what people like. Thirdly, the expressions are very important. When I saw the debate, I was, with regard to Trump, he was mostly frown face, and then he would get very agitated and, have a face like this, which is similar to what a child would have when he's not given a lollipop. He'll just get, upset and all that. Whereas Biden was sarcastic. He would laugh, as if that, showing that the other guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, this is not what you do. He would get frustrated if he's interrupted, he would get agitated. He should not. Should have just stopped, and said, okay, wait for his turn, because there are implications for all that. So the appearances and the expressions are very, very important. And going forward, my advice to Trump would be just relax, man. This is not the end of the world. You're not supposed to be right 100% of the time. I mean, if people criticize you, take it and say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but this is what I believe it is. with regard to Biden, he should not really get flustered by if somebody interrupts him or somebody has thing that he has uh, not going according to his will. He should not be sarcastic at all because that's the worst thing that you can do, not to your opponent but to yourself, because people think, oh, this guy is a smart ass. Okay, these are the few tips that one should really be very, very careful in exhibiting. Now, coming back to the debate, how did Trump fare? I think he basically didn't do so well, in my view, because he's an incumbent president. He had 4 years of governance behind him, and to me, it looked he's very, very he's scared, as if somebody can find out something about him which he doesn't want to reveal. He's too uptight. He's too agitated. He wants praise all the time, and that's not a normal behavior. This is a behavior which suggests that you're a weak person. So he didn't come like that. I would have expected confident, standing tall, open to criticism because he knows he's done well, no matter what people say. He doesn't have to repeat how good he was. His track record shows. So it didn't come like that. He should really now try and portray that kind of an image. It's too long. It's been for 9 months. It's just been too defensive on everything that is thrown at him. He should not be. He should be open. He's a president. He's got the whole machinery behind him. He's got a track record which he claims to be great. So he should really be more open and more relaxed and all that. With regards to dealing with the things, he should deal based on facts. He should not make sweeping statements, because sweeping statements can convey a negative message, a message that is not at all appropriate to what you're trying to say or commensurate to what you've done. He makes statements like, "I built the greatest economy in the history of the world." And this statement means nothing. For different people, greatest economy means different. For example, to me, the greatest economy, I judge the greatest economy on certain facts. Like it's the biggest, but size does not matter to me. 2, the economy that employment is zero, which is not the case. 3, the economy that which is strong and withstand the shocks, like unforeseen shocks, which is not the case. The economy where people have more equity in their assets than the debt, that is, in my view, economy. 5th is the economy which is able to serve its people better across section of community. 6th, the economy that is allowing the government and the people to give the best social services. To me, that's the greatest economy. It may be small or big, size does not matter. To some, the size would matter. Okay, the biggest economy is the greatest economy. Not necessarily so. So don't use this word, "have built the greatest economy ever." US has been the biggest economy for most part of the century. So what's new about it? I mean, you're telling nothing new. See? Stop saying what great job you've done. Let the indicators speak. When you do, just keep praising yourself. You're trying to, suggest what? That you're doing a great job. I mean, by telling people you're doing a great job, you're basically diluting the effect that people can feel. Yes, say that you think you've done right things for the economy to get it done to where it is, but don't say you're the greatest person in the world and you've done. There are better people than you. Who knows that somebody who comes next does an even better job than you. So don't do that. Don't say that you want to make America great, because what you're saying is that you are not great at this point in time. Although, in my book, America or the US has been the greatest country in the world. It has offered so many good things to the world for the benefit of the world. So if you want to say, I want to make America great, you're telling, say, look, guys, we're not. We're just, one of the we're like other countries. You already stand out and you say, look, I mean, we've done a lot for the world. We want to do more, and we want to do more for ourselves, which is fine. There's nothing. Secondly, you don't really say, look, you don't have a transactional relationship with the people. You can't do that all the time. Yes, you should have your benefits at stake, and you should try and make it mutually beneficial than beneficial to yourself. So these messages get can be interpreted wrongly. I'm sure in the U.S. also, many American feels that we're not the greatest in the world, and I'm sure some of the think tanks or some schools of thought would feel, okay, we are probably getting to a country with where we're going extreme right, like Germany and Hitler was in 30s and 40s. So I mean, don't say that. One of the things that you have been saying that you had for COVID, you have had empty, no supplies, empty closets. I mean, you're basically making this a very, very, very dangerous statement to make, because really opening yourself, say, okay, guys, you got an empty closet, but what did you do to fill them for 3 years? And you even basically dismantled your scouts, your eyes and ears in China and some other countries to basically give you early warning of the disease that like COVID. You basically you took that away. So really, don't say that. You expose yourself to all these situations. With regard to Biden, I think he made a stupid mistake by calling Trump a clown and a liar. Remember, let's not forget that Trump has 40 or 5 or 50% of the people who follow. They have the support. By calling Trump a liar, you're telling those people that, guys, you have made a decision, taken a wrong decision by electing a liar. So you don't have the capacity to basically see who's honest and who's a liar. This is the bad. Don't put people in that situation. Similarly, when you say he's a clown, what you're really saying is, the guys you have elected, you don't have capacity to think that you're electing a clown or the person. I mean, come on, these are not things these are things that don't help you. These are things that hurt you, because really, when you pinpoint finger and make personal attack, you're making an attack on the Constitution. So do not do it. Do not be personal, because personal things, attacks are always counterproductive. You don't have to do that. And by personal attacks, you don't become big, smarter or bigger or whatever. You actually bring yourself down. So don't do that. Deal with the facts. Now, Biden made a wrong statement there that the deficit with China increased in spite of this, tariffs and duties. That's not true. Get your facts on a piece of paper. Get your team. Give you facts on critical points that Trump is going to talk about or your opponent is going to talk about. And if you don't have the facts, just don't say it. Okay. Third thing is, with regard to COVID, Mr. Donald Trump keeps saying he's done a phenomenal job. And according to him, instead of 2 million deaths, he's restricted it to 10%, which is 200,000. Fine. I mean, if that is the case, then he has. But the question to him he should pose: could he have brought the deaths down to a few thousand, 3,000, 4,000? Was it that possible? Put him on the spot. And when you're demonstrating that if, okay, you've not done so well, you should really quote examples of underdeveloped countries rather than Germany and some of the countries which are at par with the US in certain respects. So when you say, look, when you put a third world country or an undeveloped country or a developing country and compare the US with that, you're basically saying, guys, look, I mean, you've done worse than some of the countries who don't have resources. So it's got more impact. So that's how Biden should address and do, rather than just saying, "Oh, you did a poor job." No. So when it comes to economy, of course, one of the things that Donald Trump say very, very loud, "Oh, I will build the greatest economy in the world," and Biden has to basically say something in that respect. First of all, Biden should not really say that, oh no, you're wrong, you haven't built the greatest economy. Biden should be more neutral in that he said, okay, you've done what you've done, we'll do it better. You just said you've made the economy the greatest. We'll not only make the greatest, but we'll also make the strongest. So add on to what he's saying rather than putting him down. Because, I mean, a lot of people believe that, yes, he's done right. Then another thing that he talks in terms of economy, by the way, in going back to economy, Biden should not really go into specifics and what he will do to make it better. He would just make it a holistic statement. Okay, guys, whatever you do, whatever you hand us, we will do better. We'll make it better. Period. We have the people, we have the resources, we have the technical and financial and other capabilities. We have fiscal tools, we have monetary tools. We'll use all that is needed to make it better. Now the question will come and can come, what do you mean by better? Well, then you have to basically be very, very specific. You can say better in terms of bringing the fruits of the economy to the cross-section of the society. Better in terms of ensuring that everybody gets the proper health care at an affordable cost. Better in sense of making the social services better. Better in making our infrastructure better. Better in terms of making our police and our other government provided services better. Say all those things. I mean, these are things people would like to hear. Don't talk that I'm going to increase taxes or decrease taxes. These are tools that are available to all governments, but the objective is to make it better for cross-section of society. Now, Trump basically made a comment which he had no answer to. Well, the stock market is a barometer of economic prosperity. It is not. Economic prosperity is GDP, unemployment, inflation, and so on. Stock market growth or stock market decline, bull or sort of, is not an indicator of economic strength. I mean, there are a lot of companies on the stock exchange. I will give you an example of Tesla, which made losses for years, but yet the share prices went up. It's speculative. A lot of it is speculation. But if you really want to see what does it indicate about the business, is this free cash and strength? Unfortunately, most of the businesses are highly leveraged. They're very vulnerable to shocks, like you saw that they had to be handheld to basically go through this crisis. Two, the returns that they offer on their investment is to outside investors are very low, between 2 to 4% dividends. Okay, Thirdly, they're ready to remove or let people go on the slightest downturn. Three, that they're only concerned about the shareholder value, not the stakeholders' value. So there are a lot of weaknesses in society. So saying that our economy is stock market is an indication of the health of the economy, it's not. It's just an indication of what returns people are getting. When you have zero interest, they have no other place to go but to go to stock market. So these are for people who know this, can easily refute him and put him to spot. So um, don't put yourself in the spot. Biden, don't put yourself in the spot by making specific statements. Secondly, if Trump makes a statement that a stock market is an indicator, refute him and say, look, these are the things that stock market usually have. It's no indication that this economy is good or bad. So don't use that. I mean, don't say, oh, it's not. Just say, look, I mean, this is not a good benchmark. Now, when Biden will be asked about taxes, what is he going to do? And he says, I think he said, or he came across, I'm going to raise taxes. He said, just avoid that. He said, look, I mean, taxes are one of the tools that we have to manage our economy, and we'll deal with them in a way that which is suited for all, which is the best for the economy. We won't increase taxes for the sake of taxing or hurting somebody. We will only increase taxes if it benefits all, and use that kind of a statement, so that people get more confidence in his sort of ability to deal with the facts, and which is true. He said, in terms of say what he wants to achieve in his regime as an economy, he should say that he will basically build upon whatever is built. He will not tear it down and build it again, like Donald Trump is doing with Obamacare. There's no need for that. Secondly, I mean, he will basically keep the employment up or bring it up, bring health and social services to the people at affordable cost and available to all, and basically work towards improving the lot cross-section of people. These are the big objectives that the president should have, or any administration should have. And he should not downplay the rich. The rich people have played a very, very important role. They have brought in a mobilized capital, which is invested in the businesses and research and development in various of the field. And they must be allowed to play that role. You do not try and to strap them for the capital that they've built over time. So do not play against the rich. They have a very important role to play in any society, in any economy, as compared to the others. So please do not downplay. Now he talks, when Trump talks about COVID's death, or he saved 1.8 million lives. Just tell him, look, I mean, fine. I mean, you think you have done it, but could we have saved out of 2 million, 1.995 million lives? Put him on the spot and just say yes and no, whatever. You can just don't let him get away with what it is, because that's not an answer. Just ask him, probe him. And Trump has repeatedly used a phrase that Biden was one of the guys who probably opposed the lockdown. And I mean, Biden doesn't have to basically contest his statement. I mean, he doesn't have to say, no, I didn't do it. Okay, if you did it, so say, look, I did it based on what you have been telling the people. I only had secondhand news from you and some of your colleagues that China is doing a great job, it's going to go over, and this and that. And keeping that in perspective, I thought it didn't make any sense to lock down. Nobody in his rational mind would basically lock down the economy because there are going to be very little impact of the virus. So that's where I came from. You had the information, Mr. President, uh, from your intelligence, from the people around you, from your experts, and you knew what was going on, and you should have acted accordingly. In my view, you acted late. You should have acted. If you had acted earlier, probably the deaths would have been lower. So his answer should be in that perspective. So net, what I'm trying to suggest to both Trump and Biden, uh, guys, look, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to come out face to face and talk, and then show yourself that you're worthy of this slot, which is the president of the U.S. That you have the capacity and you have the team and you have the people to do a better job than what you've done. Just not harp upon Mr. Trump. Don't harp upon that, oh, how great you have been and how great you are. You're the best thing that has happened to the US. You're not. I mean, yes, you are. You claim that you are, but you're not, absolutely. And Biden, should not really tell the US people, oh, you basically made a mistake and got a clown or a liar as head of the US government. No, don't say that. It's not going to get both of you anywhere. What will get you? You should basically say, guys, I mean, I'm not here to put Donald Trump down, or vice versa. Donald Trump should not basically say, look, I'm here to put Biden down. I say, look, guys, I mean, we have now 1.5 hour, 45 minutes each. I'm trying to make the best pitch, as best a pitch as I can for myself, and put my best foot forward, because that's what I'm here for. Do not interrupt, because if you interrupt the other guy, you're basically doing a service to him, because he's speaking less, and in that time maybe he will just say things that cannot be questioned, and you're losing out. By speaking more, you're making yourself vulnerable. So when you interrupt somebody, people first of all get a negative view that, oh, this guy doesn't want other to speak. I don't know what he's scared of. Secondly, you're basically allowing the other guy to get away with exposing himself to making statements that could be questioned. So don't interrupt, let him speak. And this goes on for both sides. And then let people decide who's going to win, who's not going to win. Now, I'm going to basically digress a little bit here, and just in the final phase of this segment, I'm going to talk about some things that happened in the last 4 years. Look, as an outsider, I personally believe that I've been visiting the US since 80s, and I always thought that it was the best country in the world in terms of being less racist and less sort of dogmatic, compared to Europe and other countries. And I always felt that once you came to the US, you were yes, it's got a great feel to it. But over the last 4 years, and maybe since 9/11, US has basically embraced upon things that it didn't need to. It has sort of is giving a feeling to the outside world and maybe to the Americans that we want to close off the US for the rest of the world. My dear brothers and sisters and friends, I'm not sure whether this is something that's going to help the US or the government. Closing yourself for fear of people either taking your jobs or either they're going to kill you or they're going to basically pollute your society, are the traits that are degenerative in nature. They bring people down. If you're stressed out, you live in fear, or you think others are to grab you, or your wealth, or whatever, you cannot prosper. You basically, your health, your mental, your physical health, and your demeanors sort of degenerate you, bring you down. Don't do that. Open up and then see how the world takes you. You're still the strongest country in the world. You still have very progressive and open-minded people and a society. Don't let it become like China or Russia or some of the other countries who have closed and who are not open to welcoming other people. Your strength lies in basically being supportive uh, rather than demanding, and having a transactional type relationship with the outside world where you just only deal with them if you benefit, because this is a very narrow perspective, and it doesn't help. So with these, I want to conclude, and I hope I don't offend anybody. I hope you have a good time and enjoy the next two debates and enjoy the November 2nd election, and you basically bring to the presidency the best man for the job. Thank you. Goodbye.